I like Steph. I happily
I
talk
like
to
you, but nothing to talk about, sorry.
That's completely valid. Then we can be dismissed, so I can get
Yay,
Entire
punch it
meeting.
off.
and turn the microphone off.
Oh, I love that filter.
Sure.
Yeah. Check that out.
The entire meeting. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dance party, baby.
No, turn around. You got to see it.
Dance party.
I like that.
Responding to emails? How come you haven't responded to my emails?
What did your email say?
Well, one of my emails was at the last ConCom wondering about how to check on somebody who thought he had registered and didn't register.
I honestly have been snowed under with work for the last
And then I
month.
sent another email this week saying, hey, I never received a response to my previous email.
Okay. That's on me.
Okay.
It's my fault.
So you're
You can
working on the
escalate
whole
to my
registration
director if
issue
you
then?
like. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I took off that should be streaming live right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I will
That was my question.
control the channel on my other system.
Okay. Do you want me to send the link to Productions app?
I'll pull it off the system.
Because I could copy the link and email it to Productions app right now.
Come with it. So
Sure.
enjoy.
Thank you. I gotta remember who that's for.
You said your father.
There we go.
Oh.
Give him a smartwatch.
Oh, well,
It's the Moto.
it's another thing he can mutter at.
It's the Moto 360.
Damn watch.
So it should work.
That's a nice band, brother.
That is really nice.
Pimping ain't easy, but it's necessary.
Right?
Because I'm chasing whatever, like. All right.
Do we, okay, so
I'd love some server. What?
I mentioned this to you guys before, but I am ordained.
Oh, okay.
And I don't charge if it's going down.
How are you?
Yeah, and you can
Doing all right. The other night at the thing, there was a puppy, and the puppy sat on the sofa, and it bited my hair.
Oh, that was such a cute little puppy.
And you have a marriage license ready to sign and somebody to sign as a witness.
I like how, I was going to say, I like where this is going.
Five with the Catholic family.
I was going to say,
So how have you been? I've seen pictures of your
for that, but like,
your workshop.
Doing all right. Pardon me, didn't mean to run over your hands. Hello, Carrie. Where do you want the video streamed from?
that was why. 'Cause I was like, what's some places? Whichever.
That is convenient for me.
I'll look and see if I already sent it to you.
So in the long run, I would like Productions to own this because they do cameras, right?
Except, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, look, I'm happy to
I agree.
I'm happy to provision all this crap, right? And go ahead. This is a longer conversation. This is a like 5-year conversation.
And we're only 2 years into it, so.
Yeah, go for it.
If I need to have something put on the CVG
Oh, okay. I was like, it's the day of which you
I agree.
Because I'm sitting here fishing cables and I'm like, this is something that somebody in Productions would actually enjoy doing, you know?
Fishing cables is an IT thing. Yeah, I know.
It sort of, but sort of not, right?
So my thought was, my thought was that since we're monitoring and setting up the sign-in stations, the internet, this would just be something else for the
As long as we sit down and figure out the technology and
One of the things I want to make sure is that we're doing is standardizing this.
I have no arguments with that whatsoever.
We should find a solution because this or the GoPro or the 920 that I use.
I don't care what we do, right? I don't want to be in charge.
Okay.
I'm okay with being in charge of it, but you know, my other head. I want to pause this
There's a
thing.
mute on there.
And we're changing the tone. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, IT. Next up, we don't really have a lot in terms of stuff to cover. We're going to go right on into department announcements. I'm going to read out who's coming up. Come on up, and when you come up, step up to the mic, give your department so that people know who you are, your name so people know who you are, and make your announcement. So this isn't necessarily in the order. You can come up, and we'll just go in the order that people are up here. But I've got department announcements from publications, creative services, A&I, programming, transition team, volunteers, guest of honor, registration, hotel relations, hotel allocations, SRD. So all y'all come on up. Come on down.
Right. Hi there. Hi there, I'm Uncle Mikey. I am both publications and creative services today. Yay. All right, here we go. The following departments have extensions. Operation, Sage, Cinema Rex, invited participants, programming, special events, harmonic convergence, parties, guests. If you didn't hear your name, you don't have an extension, and you're 15th of April. The time for getting extension requests in has already passed. Please send all correspondence, including submissions for publications, to publications@convergence-con.org. Publications is also happy to announce that our subhead, Benita Anderson, is now going to be a co-head for the 2019 cycle. And in addition, Beth Scudder has agreed to take on the restaurant guide, and Cole Serrar will be taking on the pocket grid. So I want to thank Electra for doing the restaurant guide last year. And I want to thank Melissa Kircher, who did the grid for umpty years and until this year. So, woo! Thanks. Now, creative services. The deadline for new custom artwork requests is the 15th of March. The deadline for posters and other print media or web images with existing art is the 15th of April. The submissions form went out on the ConCom mailing list link. I am not going to repeat the URL here because it's a bunch of gobbledygook. Other correspondence should be sent to creative services at convergence-con.org. Creative Services is looking for people who'd like project management for shadowing the current leadership and for stepping into future leadership, because I'm not going to be able to keep doing that job, and Lauren would really like someone else to help with the project management. Are there any questions for either publications or creative services? Awesome, then I'll get out of the way and let other people talk for a change.
Hello, I'm George with Accessibility and Inclusion. We are looking for a hello? Okay. We are looking for a subhead to help run the sensory break room. If you know somebody or if you yourself are interested in helping out, please contact us at accessibility@cvgcon.com. Thanks.
That's it.
I'm stepping in because I need to make an announcement for hotel relations. Electra's voice is kind of going away, and she had asked me to do this, so bear with me. Hotel Relations is hosting a multi-departmental meeting to discuss some of the policies, layouts, and uses of the common spaces within the Hyatt for 2019. They have set a tentative meeting time for GPS at 106A, the classroom with the large whiteboard, on January 27th from noon to 6 p.m. The times will be shortened and adjusted once we know who is attending and what times they will be. Please email hotel@convergence-con.org. Wow, I actually got that right. It also helps that it's written down. They would also ask for heads and key subheads or specialists to attend as space is limited. Bring your list of questions or topics you would like to discuss beforehand. If you have questions but won't be attending, please email hotel by January 26th, and we will do our best to address your questions at the meeting and let you know final decisions. Thank you. Any questions before I pass on?
Could you repeat the time?
Right now, it's tentatively set between noon and 6, but those times will be adjusted depending on what everybody else who wants to attend says.
So you said it was gonna be at GPS?
Yes.
Okay. Hi there, I am Karen St. Aubin from Hotel Room Allocations. So our dates have been pushed back. No, you have not missed the opportunity to get a hotel room. So we're going to open ConCom on January 31st, hopefully. Watch for an email. We're also going to be opening Millennium at the same time, so you have an opportunity to choose which hotel you want to be in. You do have a week to get your reservation in before we open to the next block. And then we're opening February 21st, hopefully to the public. Let's see. This year we're going to make a requirement that you must stay Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at either the Hyatt or the Millennium. If you are only staying for one night or 2 nights, you're going to need to go to an overflow hotel. And we don't have those set yet, but those will be posted. And that's all I have. Oh, yeah.
I have a question. Can you repeat in what order the other link releases will be done in?
Sure. So January 31st is going to be ConCom. Then you'll have 1 week before the next block is open.
No, I meant for like uninvited participant guest of honor.
Okay, we'll talk after and I'll give you the dates.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Awesome, thank you.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I am with Staff Resources and Documentation, also known as SRD, and I'm here to hopefully not confuse you further. So, we set 2 deadlines at the last ConCom meeting. The first deadline was for forward-facing policy. And what that means is if you have a policy that goes out to the general membership that they see ever, that's the policy we want to have on hand. What we're doing with these policies is we're compiling them in a single location. The board can look at them, we can look at them, and we want to make sure they don't contradict each other. We want to make sure that they all kind of sound the same. So that the photography policy on the website maybe sounds the same as the photography policy Masquerade wants. We want them all to match and we want them all to be as cohesive as possible. So that's why we want to see your forward-facing policies. There were a number of departments who did not make the December 31st deadline for those policies. You should have received an email in your departmental inbox. Please check that. And if you don't have any policies, great. Send us a note saying that so I don't keep coming back to you asking where it is, please. The second deadline is January 31st for all documentation. And what that means is that if you get sucked into an interdimensional wormhole, we need someone to fill your place and we don't want them to go in blind. So I'm going to use ConSuite as an example because ConSuite sent us their documentation. ConSuite has a list of vendors. ConSuite has a list of requirements for who does what in their department. There is a list of timelines for when they need to order things. There are different ways that volunteers should act. If JT got kidnapped, how would someone step into ConSuite's shoes? And that documentation is complete, it's there. And I know there's a lot of departments out here who don't have that documentation. That's fine. Really, that's fine. Tell me, tell Jeff, tell srd@convergence-con.org, and we will help you write it for the future. So that deadline again for all department documentation to help run your department in case you get abducted by aliens is January 31st. Are there any questions? Did I confuse you further? Great.
I'm Craig Finseth. I'm with the programming department, although for this announcement, I'm wearing my mapping hat. Maps for the of the Hyatt are basically complete, but there's going to be ongoing work over the next few months as we continue. If you are a department needing or wanting to do layouts for your room for event orders, formerly known as resume, you probably want to be talking to me about getting access to the mapping site to do that. There is one site where you use to do the layouts, and then everything is published to the Google Drive where everybody can look at it. And I can, help you through that whole process. Mapping at convergencecon.org. One of the key things we're doing is making sure we have standardized room names for all the rooms. For example, you're in Great Lakes B right now, or Great Lakes A and B, depending upon which half of the room you're in. Not ballroom, because the Hyatt has 3 of them. So it is important that we all use the same names everywhere in documentation and everything, so people don't get confused. I will be including the current list of names with the announcement in the minutes, assuming that the secretary lets me, and doesn't deem it too long. But the current list is always available on the mapping site for everyone to look at. Any questions?
Hi, so I am Kimber, Louisiana. I am a co-head of gaming, but I am up here to communicate on behalf of the transition team. We will be having a survey sent out to all of ConCom within the next week or 2, hopefully, and it's to check in and get information on how you guys are doing, your concerns, any assistance you may need, and any projects that you may need help with or aren't sure where to start, just so that we are doing well in the 2019 cycle with transition. So be on the lookout for that. That'll come out shortly, and that'll be coming from me. And if you are on the transition team, our after convention ConCom meeting will be happening in the Lake Harriet room. So meet us over there when everything is done. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Beth Kinderman, co-head of Harmonic Convergence. I wanted to announce that the HarmCon application form for 2019 is now open. You can access it through the Convergence website. Go to Get Involved, Musicians/Performers, and there should be a link on that page. It's going to remain open through March 1st. One change this year that we would want people to be aware of is that Harmonic Convergence is only going to be booking bands, musicians, and other performers who would need the full technical complement of lights, sound, and everything. If there are comedians, storytellers, anything like that where it's just you kind of need a microphone and a stage, that's going to be booked through the spoken word department. I don't know if Philip Lowe is here today, but he would be the person to talk to about that. So please spread the word to any bands and performers you might know who would be interested in performing at HarmCon this year, or if you are a band or performer who would like to perform at HarmCon this year, we would love to consider you. We're especially looking for people who have not performed at HarmCon before, new performers in general, and people who have performed at HarmCon in the distant past but have been away for some time and might like to come back. We'd love to get a really diverse group of acts, so please spread that information as widely as you would like. The application form will be open through March 1st. Any questions? Okay, thanks.
Howdy, everybody. Samantha, one of the volunteers co-heads. I am here to let you know that we are working on getting a volunteer rally together. Right now we're looking at April 7th. That way we want all of you to come out and talk to people that might be interested in volunteering for your department. I hear there might be a few people who need help. As of this time, we do not have the location set in stone yet. We are working on that, and we will have more information for that in 2 weeks. Also, everybody who is using Sign Up Genius, we would like you to provide your schedules to us by March 30th. Again, that is March 30th. So that way they can be available for people to look at said volunteer rally. All right.
I'm not gonna know what the volunteer hours I have available are until programming finishes programming. Can I get an extension?
I believe that would be a yes.
Thank you.
For those of you who didn't hear, Trisha was asking, since she's not going to know her volunteer hours needs until programming is done, if she can get an extension. So.
So for nerf herders, we aren't gonna necessarily know where all the badging stations or anything are. Do we just put a rough thing up or say, and we'll need people?
Yeah, Nerf Herders, you can just say you'll need people and maybe even also put up a rough idea. Anybody else? All right, then I will return to sitting in the crowd and being your local village idiot.
Hi, Carly Buchanan, guest of honor co-head. I just want to announce that in addition to Brother Guy and Bridget Landry, who we've already announced, we've just confirmed Peter David, comic book writer, novelist. He'll be joining us, and a promise that within a couple of weeks we will have the final details on a couple more guests, and I will send out an email to the ConCom before everybody else in the world gets to find out. So, thank you very much.
All right. One piece is over in the back is Thomas. Thomas is hanging out back there, helping to run some of the video. But also what he's doing is if you have had any challenges with signing in, or if you have signed in during the year and it hasn't registered, Thomas is here to fix that. So make your way over to Thomas at some point and talk with him about that, and he will go ahead and address that. Thomas. Next up, we have partner announcements, and I've got GPS on the list.
Hey everybody, short and sweet. No news on February's movie night, so if I get news before we send out the announcements to the ConCom, we'll put it there. Otherwise, just keep an eye on our website. Tuesday, February 19th is our open meeting, so come and find out about stuff like, you know, how great the turnout was for applications for Space Camp Scholarship and all that. And we have a new club. Echo Base, Minnesota Lightsaber Builders Club has joined us. So, yes, because we're geeks and we do get that specific. We will be promoting their Facebook group, so if you want to join in the fun and find out what they're doing, just keep an eye out on that. I'll put that information in the notes as well. Does anybody have any questions for GPS? Hearing none. Wait a minute, there's one.
Can we sign people up for the lightsaber club without their knowledge or consent?
If you're Sith.
Yeah, show up as, well, Sith or just stormtroopers. Crash the party. Yeah, get the 501st to crash the party. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
All right. Next up we have community announcements. The only one I've got here is that Margaret has a card for Shani Fairbanks for the passing of her fiance. So come up and see Margaret if you'd like to sign that card. Is there anything else for the good of the body before we transition over to the annual meeting portion? I'm not seeing any. Okay. We're going to transition over to the annual meeting. I have one announcement before I turn it over to the elections committee. Most of you, if you're on ConCom, you're aware of this. For anybody who's not on ConCom, the overall piece is there'll be an announcement going out to the membership, but talking about because we've transitioned over here and that next year and for the next few years, 2020, 2021, and 2022, that we will be shifting over to August for the convention dates. We are still working on the exact dates on that, and that has to do with just what is already here at the hotel, what kind of things are going on. Those dates will be announced when we're able to, definitely at the closing ceremonies to the general public. But right now, we're continuing to negotiate, continuing to work on things, change all the time. But this was the closest we can get to our July dates, which were not available. In 2023, we'll be back to our regular July dates. So that announcement will be going out today. That is making it so that anybody here at the annual meeting is aware of that as well. Any questions? Seeing none, I'm going to turn it over to Andy Murphy. Andy, Lena, and Ann Rubik are going to be our elections committee, and so they're going to take over for the elections, and the board is going to step away from here.
Thanks, JP. All right, I get to do all the official stuff because apparently I pontificate better than the others. So, do you want to pontificate?
You swear less.
Okay, now go with that. We'll go with that. All right. Eat the mic. Got it. Election rules. We'll start off with all the official stuff. First off, in order to be eligible to vote, there are 3 rules, and that's not them. They're here. Hang on a sec. Aha, bylaws. Wrong one. You had to have volunteered a minimum of 25 hours on activities of the corporation within the preceding cycle. The corporation is Convergence Events, which of course also includes Convergence. You needed to attend at least 2 official committee meetings during the preceding cycle. That includes ConCom meetings, that includes the convention as 1. And finally, you need to be at least 14 years of age on or before the date of the annual meeting, that's today. So, if you're not sure if you're eligible, come find one of the judges. We can check. If you log in, because there is a URL you can look at, and you're not seeing yourself, or there's a question about whether or not you're eligible, come find us. We have a procedure for being able to verify you. Any questions on who's eligible? Wow. Waiting for it. As far as the election rules go, we have the following rules as to how the election will run today. Each candidate will be given up to 3 minutes to stand up here and tell us about their qualifications. If they do not use the entirety of their time, the time will not be extended to other candidates. Once they have finished, we will give them 5 minutes to do questions and to take questions and give answers. If at the end of those 5 minutes, at the discretion of the judges, we will extend that by 1 minute at a time to allow for the additional questions. Since none of the positions that we are dealing with are being challenged, we're going to leave it a little more flexible this year. Any questions on that part? Wow.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Tricia.
How will the Q&A period go? Like, do people need to line up to ask questions? Will a microphone be passed around?
I think we'll have this microphone on and we'll bring this one around for the questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For those, that's also not what I want. Bring me back my email. The board positions that are currently up for election today are facilities, which currently has 1 person running for it, that is Nadeem Khalidi. Productions has 1 person running, that is Amy Mills. And systems, 1 candidate, Michael Scott Shoppy. So, Shap, I've known you for 20 years, I still can't pronounce your name. Thank you. Shap. I'm going to take them in that order. So if Mr. Nadeem, if you would like to come up first. Mr. Nadeem, you're up first. Is this one working? No, it's not. How about now? Is this one working?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. Sure.
Hi. Is it on?
It is on.
Hi, I'm Nadeem.
I will kill anyone who does extensive applause. We got 3 minutes for a speech. Just.
I'm done.
Do we have any questions for Nadeem?
I one question, I have two questions for each of three candidates. How can we do this? Okay, so I have one question for each, sorry, let me repeat that. I have two questions for all three candidates, so if the other two candidates want to start formulating their responses, they can go ahead and do so. My first question is, as a convention, we are committed to representing the diverse communities and perspectives in our sci-fi fantasy fandom and attendees. And yet, all three of the people who are running unopposed for positions this year are all white here. As a future director of a division, how would you encourage and mentor people in your divisions who are not of the same ethnicity, /gender, /sexuality as you to become confident enough to want to run for a board position?
How do you foster inclusion?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm also still formulating an answer in my head. How do I plan on doing it? By talking to people and hopefully, reminding people that I may look white, but I wasn't born here. It's as simple as that. I mean, you do everything you can. I have always welcomed and wanted as much inclusion as possible because I see things in terms of we're geeks. And, that's where I'm at with that.
And my second question is, running a convention is a very difficult job, and often people in departments can get burnout. In fact, everyone from the former resume department from last year felt so much burnout that they were assigned at the very beginning of this convention cycle.
Trisha.
How would you, as a division director, prevent that kind of situation from happening again?
Slow down. I'm just trying to keep up with you. Slow down your speed. How do you...
So, how do I prevent burnout? By talking to the people and cycling them through when needed. It all depends on the level that each individual has. I mean, you're talking about individuals, not as a collective. It happens to everybody, directors included. You've just got to pay attention to the people that you're dealing with.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I need to jump in. So, support of personal privilege.
Against Nadine's time.
Yes. So, I appreciate the idea that we're looking at diversity and inclusion and equity. Part of that is making sure that we're not judging people by the color of their skin. As a light-skinned black man, sometimes I present white. People here are here because they love this convention and this community. And while I appreciate your question and where you're going with it, there's a piece that needs to be reminded. That's not a white guy. And we should not be pointing to that. If you want to keep people like me, like him, and other people involved in this convention and connected into it. The idea of diversity and inclusion, very important. But let's be mindful of who we all are and be mindful of what it means and that you can't judge by color of skin. Thank you.
Due to the point of personal privilege, I'm adding 2 minutes back into Nadine's time. Are there any questions? Do I see a hand? Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you.
Our
Our second position is productions, and our person is Amy Mills.
Alright. I'm gonna pull this out and make it a little easier. Maybe. Okay. That might work a little bit better. Hi, I'm Amy Mills. I've been the Director of Productions for 2 terms. I'm running unopposed, which I think means one of 2 things. Either you think I'm doing a good job, or no one wants this job. I'm not sure which of those 2 options is more terrifying. I was gonna just leave that for my speech, but I think I'm gonna jump into the question. Much like there's a lot of invisibilities. There's a lot of things we don't see. Just on a personal note, I've had some things going on in my life, so right now I get a little break. My team knows what's going on. We are a diverse community. That's what makes us strong. It also presents us with a lot of challenges. But, you know, as long as we keep moving forward, as long as we keep asking questions, as long as we keep challenging ourselves, not only as a community, but personally growing. I mean, let's face it, we keep growing. We started with 1,500 members, or 6,000 members. We're in a bigger space. We're gonna grow again. We need to start reaching out to those communities. We have been doing a good job. We need to continue to do that. Expanding our programming, expanding our guests. It's not a challenge that we can't meet. I have confidence in everyone in this room. I have confidence in our community. I don't remember what the second part of the question was. Oh, burnout. So, yeah, so this is the 3rd term. So at the end of this 3rd term, if you elect me to this position, it'll be 9 years. That's a long time. So, yeah, it can be a lot of work for people. I mean, it can be a challenge. And I think a big part of that is the fact that we rely on our community. We rely on each other. If you get to a point where you need to reach out to each other, do. Like I said, my team knows what's going on. They know, you know, if they need to poke me because I'm not responding, they poke me. And we need to do that for each other. And sometimes you just need to take a break. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so any other questions?
Any questions from the group?
Having the position already, hold on.
having this position already,
Mhm.
doing it already, what has been your favorite part of the job?
Favorite part of the job.
Choose one. You can't have all of them.
You know, I've been coming to Convergence since its beginning, and I went to MiniCon for many years, and MiniCon actually was part of my family tradition. My eldest sister randomly wandered into MiniCon when it was in downtown Minneapolis, knew nothing about it. Then my brother Alan went for several years, and then I went for a few years. But I was just always someone just went to a convention. And becoming part of the board, I became more involved with the community. And that's what I love about it, is actually being more active and having more things to do rather than just being someone that comes and hangs out. That's what I love.
Point of clarification. I have a point of clarification. I'd like to personally apologize to the people who are running for this position, Amy, Nadeem, and Mike, for the rudeness of the question I was asking. It was not my intention, and I do apologize. My question was mostly, so I retract that part of the question, and I just want to say that my question is more about how to mentor people so that they can also become more directors. Thank you.
Okay. How to mentor people.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think reaching out to communities and being more active and possibly going to smaller conventions. Because there are little growing conventions that we could, now that we have a bigger space and we can grow again, going to those smaller conventions, inviting people to come, offer them memberships to come and see what our convention is like, getting them more active, especially like the youth programming group that we have, the teen room, you know. Those are the ones that we need to mentor. Does that help? Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Going once. Going twice. Thank you, Amy. And finally, for systems, Uncle Mikey. See, I didn't mess it up that time. This is why I just go by Uncle Mikey, is no one can screw that. Usually it's a personal challenge, Mikey. Don't. Hi, I'm Uncle Mikey. Let's see, I did not actually prepare any kind of speech or anything like that, because that's silly. Right? But, so as I understand it, you want to, I think most of you know what I've been doing, but I will summarize anyway. I started out in the operations division, operations department. I started out as a wandering host and dispatcher. I was a dispatcher for several years. And then I got it into my head that as a project, both to learn a new technology and to help out the con, I would rewrite the logging software. And when I decided to do that and I started on this project, Thomas not only said, that's a great idea because it could really use a refresh, but also, and by the way, you're now a subhead. And so I spent several years as a subhead and then as the IT specialist for operations. And then I took on another role, a very large role in my other volunteer organization, the Society for Creative Anachronism. And so I had to step back from operations, which of course is a very much a year-round preparation. I knew I wasn't going to have the time. So I stepped back from that for a little bit. And when that was done, I started coming back to ConCom because I was also going to be a subhead in hotel, which is just an AtCon thing. And then I found out that publications desperately needed someone to step in as its head. Well, while I am a software engineer now for my day-to-day life, I went to college to be someone who does publications. I used to teach PageMaker. InDesign is still PageMaker. So that was actually a fairly easy thing to take up, especially because most of the structure, most of the personnel that Faro had built were still in place. And I haven't chased them off yet, thank heaven.
Yes.
And then some of you know I am now also the sort of emergency backup head of creative services. And that gets into the question of how do we foster not just new directors, but how do we foster leadership in general, which is a big problem. And it is something that I hope to address from the position on the board, as well as while I am still head of publications and creative services, to try to make sure that I have a clean succession in those two roles. And I'm ready for questions. Your questions. I'm going to start. I know you've kind of withdrawn the diversity question, and yet I don't want to leave it completely unaddressed. Yes. I think, but I do want to address the diversity part to some degree. I don't think we have I don't want to say we have no diversity problems, because everyone's got diversity problems everywhere, no matter how hard they try. It's the trying that matters. And the succeeding helps a lot. In my own life, I look for talent. I look for people who can get the job done. And I try to convince them they can do the job. Because that is frequently the biggest trick, is someone who thinks they can't do it. And that I look and I see their skill set and I'm like, no, actually, I think you can do this. And I'm going to help you find that yourself. And that's what I look for, is the talent, the capability. That's what I care about. And I do try to mentor that, and I do try to foster that. I am in the middle, as I said, of working out the succession for my two departments. In publications, it's comparatively easy. I have a number of subheads, two of which have been responsible for the actual project management, and one of them, Vitnita Anderson, is now my co-head. And I'm working to make sure she's going to have what she needs to take over from me as the head. And I'm going to encourage her to find immediately a second person, a co-head, whether it is someone currently in the department or someone from the outside who is interested. Because I've done it as a single person job, other people in publications have done it as a single person job. But one of the things that I think makes Convergence strong is most of our departments have at least two heads. It's the Roman model of dual authority. Sometimes it's problematic, but if they're talking to each other, it doesn't have to be problematic. And it actually makes things stronger, because it means if one of them is having a problem, someone can immediately step in and pick up the slack. And that is a problem we have right now in both of my departments, in that I have until recently been the only head of publications, because that's what I inherited. And creative services, I have a co-head. She's very good at the artistic side, but she doesn't want to do the project management side, and that's why I came in. And if she doesn't want to do it and she doesn't feel it's a strength of hers, she shouldn't have to do it, and we should find someone else to help her with that.
You are at time, sir.
Thank you.
But are there any other questions? Question in the back, Brian.
As you potentially move into this new role on the board, how do you see yourself making your mark on the board and on the convention as a whole? And what do you see your legacy being down the road?
That is a very good question. I have to admit, I'm not sure I've thought that deeply. That's a strange thing to admit, I realize. I don't have a huge agenda. If I have any agenda at all, it sort of comes back to something that Lauren actually told me to say to finish up answering a question last ConCom. Just talk to each other, damn it. One of the problems we have throughout the convention, in my opinion, not singling anybody out because we all have this problem. I've had this problem, is we sometimes forget to just reach out and talk to the people who know or who might know, to ask the questions. We're Minnesotan, we're geeks. Sometimes we're a little shy. Sometimes we don't want to talk to strangers. But if we're going to do our jobs, we have to talk to each other. If I'm going to have any legacy at all, I want it to be that I've helped to encourage people to actually talk to each other a little better and improved the overall communications of the convention. Does that answer your question?
Any other questions? Okay, we'll grab Hal first and then the one over here.
Hi.
So, your division, or the systems division currently has one department in it.
Yeah.
I was wondering what your conception of systems is and how you feel that would relate and work interdepartmentally and interdivisionally throughout the ConCom and the convention.
That is an extremely good question because it is an oddity right now. With finance moved into a non-board supervision role under the CFO, the systems division will only have IT. It is the only division with only one department under it. Now, as I understand it, there's some talk about rebalancing the departments, but it does sort of open up the question, what is a guy who's only really supervising one department to do? Well, for one thing, IT lies at the heart of a lot of what we're doing. And so fostering that communication between IT and the different divisions and the different departments to make sure they get what they need in both directions is going to be a large part, I think, of my role. Opening up those communication channels, helping people to, say it with me now, just talk to each other, damn it, is going to be a large part of my role. But I also expect that the board is not going to leave it as a single department division for very long. So, did that answer your question?
Yeah, so I just wanted your feelings on it.
Yeah.
I guess just as a
I hear you.
Sweet. So I guess just as a follow-up to Trish's question, you talked a lot about like some more general stuff. Do you have any specific things that you were planning on doing either within the systems division or like as your role as a director, specifically to help marginalized communities? Because I wasn't able to pull that out of your answer when you were answering it originally.
It's a fair question, and unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for you, because it's not that I don't think it's a problem. I do think it's a problem. I'm never going to tell anyone we don't have a problem. Everybody, as I said, no matter how hard they're trying, they have a problem to solve. It's throughout our society. My personal view, as I said, is I look for talent. I don't say that to say that I am completely colorblind or completely gender blind. I don't think anybody really is. I say that to make the point that what I look for is, can a person do the job whether they know they can do the job or not? And my main role is going to be to reach out to people and try to convince them to try something, to step out of their box, step out of their comfort zones. Because it's the only way we get anything done. None of us are necessarily walking into these jobs already comfortable with them.
Speaking as one of your current co-heads of IT, we certainly need a lot of supervision and we could use some guidance.
I'm not quite sure how to take that, but thank you. And in case anyone is wondering, since I didn't really cover it, what my qualifications are for that role, I have been a manager of software engineers. I have herded those cats.
And in fairness, I mean, there's some of that experience, and you built some of the systems that are running in operations today that we eventually need to integrate into the thing.
Yep.
The other thing I think we're all looking forward to, Thomas has been very busy. It sounds like you might have a little more time, not having 4 different roles within the organization, and might be able to bring some of the systems experience.
And looks like we're out of time.
We got 15 seconds.
Bruno! Fred Bruno!
Thank you. I did mean to address that. Unfortunately, I only have 15 seconds to address it. May I have another minute or 2?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to tell a little parable of burnout, because I have burnt out. Never with Convergence, thankfully. But in the SCA, I don't want to go too deeply for those of you who don't know how the SCA is organized into it, but I had a prominent role in the region that we are in right now called the Kingdom of North Shield, when it became a full-fledged kingdom and was not just a part of another kingdom. And it was part of my role there was ceremonies, to develop all the ceremonies, to help develop the award structure we were going to use, and to help stage manage the first coronation. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. I technically had a 2-year term. I really wanted to step down after a year and a half because that had taken so much energy. I got talked out of it, and I didn't go with my gut. And I stayed the full 2 years, and that was a mistake. Because then I walked away from that organization for almost 3 years. Not because I didn't still like the people, but because I just couldn't even look at it. That's not a good place to get. And I have now tried as much as possible in every role I have, from my day job to my work here at Convergence to my continued work in the Society for Creative Anachronism, to avoid and help other people avoid burning themselves out. If you're asking for specifics, one of the reasons I set the deadlines for publications the way I do is so that my volunteer editors and layout people don't get burned out at the end of the process.
Are there any other questions? All right, at this time, I'll move up there so everybody can see me.
Stay, be good.
Thank you, Mikey. All right, as we've done this the last few years, what will happen is momentarily, right, Thomas? You will get an email into your email box that tells you how to vote. You may vote on your phone, you may use the computers over here, whichever is more convenient for you. That will stay open until approximately 3:30 p.m. There will be a 5-minute warning when we are about to close the ballots. So please, I beg your pardon?
Stay open until 3:30?
3:30, yes. So please vote early. Don't vote often, the system won't let you. This isn't Chicago.
It is currently listed as an upcoming ballot.
Yes, Thomas will let it go through here momentarily. We have a question, sir.
And these emails are going out to the people that are for sure eligible, and if you're not eligible, you won't get an email?
You should, if you're not eligible, you'll not get an email. Please come find one of the judges and we'll be able to help you out if you think you should be eligible. Again, the judges are Ann in the red over there, myself, and Lena right here in the white. Question?
When do the ballots start?
As soon as you get that email, which should be when Thomas says now. Now. All right. With that, I will return this back to the board for the rest of the meeting. Thank you everyone for voting. We will let you know the results right after 3:30. Thank you very much.
Still listed as upcoming.
Hold on, we have minor technical difficulty. It's coming. Trust us. Open now. Ta-da! All right.
Remember last year with crayons?
The question was asked, if I'm antiquated or still don't trust the electronic system and I want to vote by paper, please let us know. We can handle that. Just let us know whether that's what you prefer.
This is a better voting system. The most actual public ones, we actually get a voting receipt.
Yay.
I need to drink my water.
Well,
let me tell you this.
That's you guys.
I know this.
And being
All right.
It's only so he doesn't steal Sarah's.
Okay. Now, does anybody need to talk to anybody? Do we have any?
for a second.
Thank you, Lena. SRD needs to talk to first advisors and hotel allocations. First advisors isn't here.
All right, hotel allocations needs to speak to A&I, invited participants and Margaret at the same time, guests of honor, parties, dealers,
All
and
right,
first
come on up here so I can get those things. You got a list? All right, so hotel allocations needs to talk to A&I, IP and Margaret at the same time, guest of honor, parties, dealers, and first advisors. All right. Who else?
Nerf Herders needs to talk to operations.
Nerf Herders needs to talk to operations.
Guest of honor needs to talk to main stage.
Guest of honor needs to talk to main stage.
I need to talk to Art Show and Masquerade.
Craig needs to talk to Art Show and Masquerade. Cinemarex needs to talk to hotel allegations with Nadeem.
Invited participants needs to speak to spoken word. Is he here?
Is spoken word here? Invited participants needs to talk to you. If you are, come on up to invited participants.
And then I need to talk to guests and Stephanie, and then artist Ali and Margaret.
Okay, so invited participants needs to talk to guest and Margaret.
Guests and Stephanie.
Guest and Stephanie. Margaret.
And then artist Ali with Margaret and whoever the head of that division is.
Okay, that's me.
Cool.
Yes.
Kimber needs to talk to John Garner and Samantha from Volunteers and Lauren at the same time, for only briefly.
Kimber needs to talk to John Garner and who from Volunteers? All right, Samantha from Volunteers.
Art Show needs to talk to creative services.
Art Show needs to talk to Creative Services. Hand up with the skull cap.
Oh, it's Mandy.
Can't see Mandy. Hi, Mandy.
Mandy needs to talk to programming.
Mandy needs to talk to programming.
Exhibits needs to talk to event orders.
Exhibits needs to talk to event orders.
Angie from Sandbox needs to talk to JP.
Angie from Sandbox needs to talk to JP.
HarmCon needs to talk to parties.
HarmCon needs to talk to parties. Anybody else? Oh,
Transportation needs to talk to Ben Swoop, please. He's here.
transportation needs to talk to Ben Swoop. Up in the front, was that a hand up? Nope. All right. All right, talk to each other, damn it.
What's the motto for this year?
Margaret needs to talk to Teen Room. I need to vote. Oh, it's off to turn on.
Members of the transition team will probably meet about 3:45. The transition team will start around 3:45. We'll make another announcement.
I don't know if this is even on.
Children's advertisers. Please coordinate with her. I'm just into advertising. Yeah, I set this up for that last year. Well, that's because I think we got a lot in the outcast will be to the figure here, I figure I can't we absolutely do that for you, except I didn't always remember to say
Thomas is never feeling other issues.
Yes, and I've already told her that for the actual art badge, submit to the form before training for
Yeah, Amy had said something the same, but I wasn't sure.
Wonderful, beautiful people. 15 minutes. Please vote.
If only there were a microphone or something you could use.
You
to
couldn't
project
hear
your
me?
voice.
What?
I could kind of hear you from the middle.
Hey, wait, Sean, let me turn that up a little more.
Bringing the rich people over to discuss the city's
There's a whole lot of other things that didn't even make it also affects distance. It
Like for instance, one of the reasons why we're kind of experimenting with this is the first one that had so dealers found out that the artists were in there without having to pay for it. So for us, it's still a matter of trying to like figure out a way to make it easier for everybody as well.
Wonderful, beautiful people, we are giving you your 5-minute warning. 5 minutes.
I'll listen to my and make the finance try to match up.
But if they just.
Eventually we'll get this to a
I need to go grab
Thank you.
Well,
This is my box, and if I want this box, I would say I don't need this one. And until then,
Did you vote? Last year I had to remind Ishmael.
this has happened because again, I have gone to work.
Yeah, I just have one quick question. Sorry, don't mean to apologize. So for the ideas that I had about the contact cards, who would I try to start that process with? Like inquiring about what?
Creative services.
Okay.
Is assigned.
Okay.
So what you gotta do is either send me a request for creative services on Zoom, or send design yourself and send it to them to approve.
Okay.
And then you can send it to publications for printing.
Okay.
Both of them have forms that get filled out online.
Okay.
The request.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I mean, I do want to, like, I've never seen the interface, so I don't even know what to tell you what to do. But I think I can figure it out.
This is my birthday gift to you.
I'll put a file. I mean, well, it's the same as doing an LLC, only you're doing under the corporation. No, it's your, what's it called? I don't know, it's a document.
And it seems everybody's interested. I will take care of sending you that stuff over, and what it is just going to be in trade.
Right.
Well, yeah. You guys know it's probably we are not a good resource to use for like because we have with people.
Well, we put branching really schools out to be universal, so not just the
go about opening business bank accounts.
So there's two ways that you can we can have the details. We retired men, we have the
Start utilizing.
I feel like probably Matt and I are going to be
and they
That's not my
It does affect. I mean, even last year, we still tried to because he never well defined wearable flags. So then you got this thing like, oh, I'm waiting over here for my friend. Right, but I just kicked you out of this area. And then
and then what people can do now, people for donation that are tax deductible
right.
I'm gonna have to figure that out. So like, so like the PayPal donation button, we have a site, like change that to
if you want it to be tax deductible, and I'll find out if there's shortly and you want it to
well, and currently right now, if somebody does that part, it takes like a 10%.
right. And we have so there's we have a
yeah, no, I know that.
And the one challenge so I'm reaching out to them but yeah, so I can figure out what the best way is to do it. And we don't have any interest in
It's legal. So if we needed to just put
you can put twin CVG and just the address. It might be easier to take care of, but you don't have to. You have to put the funds and find that you can get something. And it will really reduce the
and one of them was that letter that for no real reason.
Right.
We just like got this thing in our PO box. What? But when we do contests, we're told to use organization. Which is why we have a legal box. we're all she's like, I'm sorry I'm being so annoying, but my parents are lawyers.
And you don't have to do lots of things.
Oh no, we don't. We got that. But then if you want
And you can also, I mean, if you need.
We had conference calls.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, well, after this is all done, don't run away. We're gonna check on this. But my archives.
Good? You're out.
Yeah. There's one that you said about the man.
I know. I'm like, what is this whole thing?
I don't want to. Fine.
Has everyone had an opportunity to either vote by email, or if you are waiting persuasion, use your paper ballot? Okay, elections are now closed. Give us a few minutes while we tabulate.
Right after.
Good? I don't care. I can do it. And then I'll do it.
All right.
Alrighty, who wants to hear the election results?
Mikey doesn't care.
Mikey does not care. This is true. Very well.
Are we doing numbers or are we just doing percentages?
All right. We'll start with Nadeem. 168 votes in favor, 94.4%. 10 none of the above. 3 abstained from voting for that position. Amy, 166 votes, 94.3%. 10 none of the above. 5 abstained from the vote. And
Why can't you just write them all in one?
Because you can't read my handwriting.
I can read your handwriting.
Go on.
That's why I'm reading.
I can read my handwriting. Finish the vote.
Do you want to come up here and read his notes?
Go for it.
Now, Uncle Mikey, 165 votes, 94.3%. 10, none of the above, 5.7, and 6 votes abstaining. Congratulations to our new members of the board.
And thank you to all of you.
Yes, thanks for participating in the 2019 election. Go by business. Yes. This is done. Those results will be published in a few moments if you need to look them up online.
No. I gotta read them in my department.
You may ask yourself, my God.
I'm staying the same. I distinctly said that.
Yep. I tried to talk to you.
Yeah. Can I take another It's my turn. He's not being filled out because I gave him a year. Time to go drink. Yes. And I purchased Disco and Blu-ray. Haven't watched it.
I am so here for still. I know a lot of people can't remember. Yeah, no, I get it.
On my watch time. You too. 3:45. That Lauren got on the mic saying 3:45.
If there are any members of the transition team still in this room, we're about to start our meeting in Lake Harriet.
I didn't anticipate you would do it.
Yeah. Party. Yeah, I'm down there too, but you have to go all around. I go around the I am super excited. I almost stopped by to see you.
I'm gone from beer to selling alcohol now, so I'm onto the spirit side of stuff. So yes, I've bought lots and lots of scotch and gin, and I've got a whole table full of. I'm running out of space to put alcohol.
You could, like, I know this is going to sound weird, but you could consume it. I know, nobody does that.
You'd be writing a card for me for Riverville.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be true. I should say.
To allow my cat to be on my mandatory.
Yes.
I don't see how that could actually.
So yeah,
Making decisions. If whatever possible.
I'm leaving letters out of my own mouth. Ben's going to the sports. I am not. Which means I can finally watch although hilariously, Ben likes rom-coms better than me.
That's fun.
Yep. Well, he also likes movies and clothes.
Not a romance comedy with explosions.
No, we watched some.
Oh, okay.
Like the numbers. Definitely romantic comedy with fun.
Excellent. Busted.
I read it through Washington. I still cannot get into science. Oh, I didn't sign it.
It's like you weren't even here.
I voted. It's broken. Quite some
I found out that I'm using two copies of the password when I created my account. But the system that changed my password was not. It's like, this password won't work. And I'm like, yeah,
Silicon ConCom for 3 events.
that's not enough.
I've been on ConCom for less long. I'm not quite sure.
Congratulations.
I talked in the meeting briefly, as yeah, I talked to him. I mean, I'm sure that we look at it, yeah. It's worth a shot. Yeah, like, so like power drop, like the, yeah, whatever.
Well, I was following it online and then I got
So you saw Monday.
yeah, so well,
Yeah, I mean, just like I said,
I won't lose because I know it's on the down.
yes, but every tab that you have open, Windows treats it as a separate process, which makes that's a good question. it go really slow. Can you tell me where you But found there it? is an add-on that I use. Approximately half
My
of that.
problem is I'm working on something and someone says, hey, I need to take a look at this. So I open this tab and I do that. But there's something I want to get back to.
Yeah, but now we're going to do it takes 5 days.
Right.
Well, that's even worse.
I know.
Because it's just going to eat all your RAM.
Yes.
Anyway, yes, there's an add-on called the Expirator, and what it does is it processes your tabs. I will give it your processes, but when you look at them, like, to whoever you know what you're right now. Thank you.
So I can either build a new email or
Yeah, let's do it. Let's build a demo.
Well, I'm gonna grab the one that you sent me and upload it.
I know the problem was it's not pulling in the header and the footer when you do that. But there has to be a way to add the header and the footer because Thomas was doing it before.
their pricing
And I might be, there's another one. This is uploading. See, if you upload it's already got the template in. So Thomas says it's preloaded.
Exactly. Getting more bids is never bad.
Here's where it might be. So if we build it,
Can you copy paste the raw go to source and then paste the source basically. So this is all the rich text format. Source would be the raw HTML version. That's why I was great when you do that. So you should still be able to do it.
He charges me two days. Two out of the 4 days at a 50%. So we're basically paying 1 day. So we can get some extra caffeine and stuff.
You look tired. How old are you?
No.
Outside have come to the company, and they're all drinking all night, so.
Maybe you should try to take a nap.
What's his name? I've been running with caffeine.
Did you go to the gym?
It was not bad. They were like, more on the Uber volunteering side, which I'm fine with that. And so.
Well, if you're interested in being like a summit or something and organizing events, you would.
Well, then I talked to him about some other ideas that I have. And I think one thing that's going to be a little different is with the space and everything. It's going to be very nice to kind of work with that. And this year, see that was done right. It's by the deadline. The stuff's going to be in this not the.
Yeah. Well, now that you know who Kimber is,
Yep.
you can work with her.
Yeah. And so they're like, yeah, the deadline is. I'm like, okay. And then they're like, we're talking about stories for sponsorship, not sponsored products. So I said, like, I don't know about that.
I occasionally find out.
How you get on ConCom is you just keep showing up to the about it.
Yeah, I don't work weekends. That's going to change.
We want darts.
I'm sure it was okay.
My friend in Austin.
I'll CC you
Because I told them, like, I'm sick of working night shift. I've done it for 3 years.
Well, I'm going to be there Monday.
I
She's going to hook me up with the things that have the coconut
working, it'd still be working nights, but it'd be like more longer shifts and not having to force me to do it every single day.
He's huddling me.
So the problem is that you're open. You're not seeing like.
Isn't this the HTML right here?
But if you're copying the list, then it's not going to take a whole.
No, this is the, I already put the code, put it in there.
Oh, you did?
Talking,
Oh, you
so I
did?
just sent
Yeah, then this is actually what.
So then that's the answer.
Yeah, so see how, well, sort of, this is not, but it did get like green links.
So what I did today was I put it into WordPress, cut and paste the HTML into the thing, and I just sent this to me as a test.
And then the other thing that I did was put that in as a lot larger.
Gotcha.
To make it like.
There might be.
Can I see the. Why the first put it down.
She goes back and she gets the actual water. She's so just named it. You have it.
I mean, that's better than it was. Definitely. This would be big.
Let's say behind an acrylic shield, and you can see how much you can throw in.
So should we go back to the editor and see if there's something else?
Can you go to the editor and
Email it to me.
See, I told you.
Oh, that's what it is. You didn't realize. Would you? Where
That would be, I'd have to talk to Thomas about that.
because like I have no interest in it. Database. I just want to sell this stuff, and then you can.
And I know you do it right here, people all you can do is here.
When I guess what I'm wondering is like, for instance,
I'm I have to talk with Thomas and see. I'm
Generally speaking,
I think that
past directors, when they see something they're going to change, I'm giving you carte blanche to it. Stop harassing people this way. I don't expect that to be a thing that you need to do. But I'm giving you carte blanche. I welcome feedback, and sometimes I need to get them a little bit. Sometimes I run behind on responding to emails and so forth. But if there's something you need, you have feedback that otherwise needs to go somewhere, please feel free to call me up.
the only thing I got is I think we're like 95.
We just had a whole conversation.
They have been updated on that.
Yeah. The director level summary is we're still making progress, and we're going to get there. The question is, will we get there in a time that we can use it faster? There's some risk, but we're being very transparent.
Hi Hal, how are you? Good. We're trying to figure out why Neon is stripping some of my HTML. Such a garbage.
Which leads them back, Stephanie, to our other conversation. We're trying to figure out how fast we can get off of them.
That would be awesome.
How fast?
There's a 60% chance that we can do it before con. But I have problems I need to solve, and I need to recruit more developers.
That won't plunge us into any kind of a confusion.
It should actually simplify our lives. Yeah, it's the Cowboy Bebop. Yeah.
I have never seen Cowboy. But I purchased
What about the pterodactyls in here?
But I purchased it over the holidays.
You bought Cowboy Bebop?
Okay, so here's why
So that I
somebody.
can.
I never got
If you like jazz. No, seriously.
Cowboys?
No, not even necessarily that. I mean, if you like jazz in space, you'll love it.
All right.
But I will even go so far as to say, if you like jazz, you'll probably like it. So.
I loved the Spider-Man cartoon, and that was one of the best soundtracks. The 67 Spider-Man cartoon has one of the best jazz soundtracks ever.
I will have to check that out.
Oh yeah, all the music around it.
Do you have needs of me, generally?
I mean, if I really
Okay.
can figure out a way to make an account where I can upload. There's a get
Where you can get an email ready but not send it?
Yeah, because that would really I'm sending him HTML emails, which he's putting in Neon, but like some of my code is displaying it is not. Because why does it? Well, even in the preview, like why is the CSS house links because the CSS house has the color of one tag not working.
Right. That sounds fun.
But I have no way of troubleshooting it because I'm not in the system. JP's in the system. That's what it's supposed to look like. Okay.
I mean, as far as getting you an account.
No, but that's just
into the HTML image. Show up and
if you copy and paste this into the rich text editor, maybe.
no, but in the source function, remember when we turned on that? Yeah.
As far as getting an account to be able to preview and that sort of thing, that's actually something we might be able to help you with.
Well, that would.
Subject to director approval and so forth.
And not just director that we have.
Oh, I know. My
If
director
I
didn't
if
have-
I could log in and like get the emails ready, and then he does
Well,
the
there's,
database part.
there's new access control, so I may actually be able to give you the ability to just do that. I could take that as an option.
See, it's not going to happen. You have to get it.
So you want to be able to prototype an email?
You know how like you can create a user account, somebody can like create a post, and
Somebody else approves
somebody
them.
else approves
Yep.
the post, like that.
Create email but not send.
Yeah, and like my user account would not be able to see any of it.
No user access.
Yeah.
I can look at it.
That would be super helpful.
Sure.
At least as long as it's going as a Hey, it's getting closer.
You want to know what I do?
What did you do?
I unchecked this box and auto-generate and update text content to email based on HTML content. So let's see what happens.
I am 50.
I'm 61, so.
I'm 50.
Yep.
Yeah. Are they any ones in particular? It's going to give you $3 and steal one.
Take one. That's about what they cost.
For the whole box?
Yeah.
Have we ever thought about doing an augmented photo thing? Or is that a much bigger conversation? A centralized place to put all of the photography.
There currently is one.
There is one.
Flickr account.
It's a
There's
Flickr
a
page.
Flickr page.
Connie.
So this is just me needing.
I don't know.
That's it.
See, that's.
Is that something that we could crowdsource, I guess, is what I'm asking. So that you could go find all of the photos of you that somebody else tagged with your name.
That was not going to happen.
Well, we didn't scroll all the way down.
We've been thinking, see, that's it. We haven't just been loading them up there pretty much until in the past.
Which, by the way, I'm fine with. But as a photographer, I think about metadata.
If you go back.
Right, I'm an old photographer, so I don't think about it. I still think Phil.
Remind me to show you
I wonder if the check mark.
Well, that's what I did. I unchecked it before my.
She's gonna want to keep it.
Well, you unchecked it, but I'm wondering if the check mark is already.
Because we want these things to survive the inevitable death of Flickr.
Right. Yeah, the problem is that, I mean, it's hard enough just getting them all loaded on. It takes hours.
Drop them off somewhere or on a hard drive.
Not that,
Just make sure I got everything.
no, I don't think so. The thing is, Peter has been the one running this department from the beginning, so he's the one who, he didn't get it in.
No, but I mean,
Oh yeah, he's still, he and I are the co-heads, I'm just the
let me say, as someone who has 15 years of digital photography, I think about
But
it.
no, he's been doing the thing.
And I have opinions about it. How hard do you think you could get all of the photographers who contributed photos to, if you put a hard drive in their hands, get them to give you back that hard drive with all the photos they shot you?
I honestly don't know, because I just haven't been in the department that
But only
long.
on the top, not.
Yeah.
We left it unchecked.
Yeah,
so that's
and probably Roger.
So,
except that if we can get him something that he can actually talk to. No,
all right. So let me suggest something to you. Yeah.
Check it after we paste.
No, don't. You do not want.
As someone who archives other data and who thinks about all of these things and who runs IT
You
and
do not want them doing messing with the code. It should just display the.
and having worked with video, who at one point had all of their video assets on a bunch of hard drives that
When
somebody
you opened it from the email.
returned to the convention.
I remember that.
I don't even know all of what happened, and I don't care. I just heard the story third hand, right?
Could we
But-
maybe fix this?
Um,
Pat?
it's not that hard for us to get a large amount of centralized data. I hit the sale at Best Buy at Thanksgiving, and I now have 60 terabytes of spinning disk in my basement. It is not that hard for us to put our hands on a crap load of data storage, either on the cloud or in person. It is not that hard for us to put our hands on a crap load of external hard drive. It would not be that hard for us to send home with any photographer a hard drive and go, hey, can you give us all the photos you've ever shot for emergence? Organize however you have them, and then we will always have a copy of them. And if you win the lottery and move to CVG and burn your house down,
So they
right?
would just fight each other, like.
Yeah,
I would think most photographers who are shot working would generally be willing
well,
to.
at least the stuff they have that is digital.
Right.
Yes.
How much stuff is not digital?
I don't know, but remember back when convergence started, digital was rare.
Digital was non-existent. I have scanned, by the way. So
again, right now the person you really need to talk to about that is Peter. And because he knows, basically I got mine.
Is that photo app? Well, let me ask this another way.
Photography Act.
Let me ask this another way. Would you rather have that conversation with him to start it, or would you rather I start that conversation?
Why don't you start?
Okay.
Since you're the guy with the data.
I have none of it.
You got the data about what to do with the data. Yeah, I mean, you can get a lot of it just off Flickr.
Well, I want to make sure we grab the data. And I don't know if all of that's going to be on the Flickr, or if we would be on the
That's how I ended up on.
I've got all the photos I've taken for, at least all the digitals I've taken.
So I know what.
Well, over there.
I have 80% of all the photos that I've ever shot. That's the other one I wanted to show.
That's it. I've got a crap ton of photos.
Well, one point I had all on the raid, and then I destroyed the raid to the comments. So, and he said that you take it to a DVD or another
Anytime you
archive,
talk
now it
between
doesn't
source and
and knowing that I spoke to the person who's doing archives, I have a opinion.
No, I'm just saying, I've got all mine here right now.
And I just made it 981K.
By the way, I have an icon which I would be happy to lend to whomever wanted to scan their own film.
Yeah, I don't have much convergence film. I have to get so
you could use it for whatever you want.
Yeah, well,
let's put it this way: it's sitting in my basement, not scanning anything right now.
Yeah, I've got an ancient Nikon film scanner, but I don't have any way to hook up to it now.
This is a cool scan, and it runs on USB.
Right, mine is a cool scan that runs on SCSI. I got it from work years ago.
Solve that problem for you if you're really bored. Yeah, but you're probably not quite that bored. I'm going to release you guys to your. Thanks, guys.
Until I got asked that question.
Well, is this the one we just sent? No.
So anyway.
Anybody has not yet signed the card but would like to? This is your last chance to find about to leave.
There we go.
Is there another code down below?
Yeah, I can.
Bye, guys.